Ahoy Minnetonka, I'm David Law, Superintendent of Minnetonka Schools. Thank you for joining us for Season 2 of our district podcast, Ahoy Minnetonka. We're beginning the year with a series of back-to-school episodes. Thank you for tuning in. For this segment, we'll be talking with one of our counselors and student life coordinator from Minnetonka High School. Back to school is just days away, and I know families and students get both anxious and excited about the start of the school year. Our guests today will help you set up for success, sharing things to keep in mind and take to heart so you can feel ready to begin a great year with Minnetonka Schools. Joining me are Sarah Seldon, one of our outstanding counselors who supports students at the high school, and Amy Livorsi, who is our student life coordinator, who works closely with new high school students and their families. Thank you for joining us today. Please take a little time to tell me about yourself.
Yeah, again, I'm Sarah Seldon, and I'm one of the counselors at MHS, and this will be my 4th year in Minnetonka School District. I love working with the high school students. I also have 3 kids of my own. I have a college student heading off this fall. I have a 10th grader, and I have a 6th grader.
Nice. Welcome.
And I'm Amy Livorsi. I'm the student life coordinator. I believe 9 years in October that I've been with the district in this position, but I've been a Minnetonka parent for a long time. Both of my students graduated 2014 and 2017, so they're off in their 20s doing their things. And so this has been a great journey for me. I started here when my son was a junior, and it just has been really fun to continue that connection with the high school age group.
Awesome. I'm going to double back in because I'm sure a lot of our listening guests don't know what a student life coordinator is. But Sarah, I'm going to start with you. So often people have this assumption that the minute that June hits, all of our employees scatter to the breeze and come back the first day of school. I know that's not true in the counseling office. What are some of the things that counselors are doing over the summer to prepare for the return of students?
Yeah, so counselors, just like teachers and other staff, are doing a lot of work to prepare for students to come into the building and to have a smooth transition back to school. We are usually starting back in August, so we've been back for a while, enrolling new students, so helping them get ready to start at MHS. We're doing a lot of planning for social emotional support for our students. So we've been meeting and discussing different things that we can be doing this school year. Just a lot of stuff with like schedules and kind of general logistics that maybe parents and students have questions about. And also meeting with families to talk about if they've got anything that's come up over the summer, any concerns or things that they want to just prepare us for so we can support their student the best we can when the school year starts.
Great. Now I know our counselors we've added 2, so we've got a very attractive counseling ratio for student. What portion of the alphabet is your portion?
So my portion will now be Biz Clan, so BIS through CLAN. And yes, we're very fortunate that we will have a team of 12 counselors now.
Okay. What are, just for our parents who don't know how we connect with counselors, what are some of the ways that you introduce yourself maybe to the new freshmen or to students at the start of the year?
Yeah, so we really talk about how we are often like that first point of contact for students and families, and we have students who come to the counseling office with just quick questions. They just want to know like how to find something in the building or how to get involved in some way. And then we are providing support for students. We see students for a variety of reasons, but we provide academic planning support, so really talking to kids about like how are their classes going, setting academic goals. We're providing social emotional support for students, so really kind of talking through like if they're going through a difficult time, listening and helping them navigate that, connecting them with resources, whatever that might be that they're needing, and also planning for life after high school. So having those conversations about, is it college, is it some other experience, but lots of different ways that we're connecting with our students and
Thank
families.
You. I'm going to come back to that life after high school. It was an interesting question that just came up this week. But Amy, student life coordinator, that sounds so all-encompassing. What is that role, and how do you prepare for the start of the school year?
That role basically is kind of an all-encompassing. I have the pleasure and privilege of working with families who are considering Minnetonka, those that have decided and are onboarding to Minnetonka. And so all of my work is kind of centered around that welcome. And I really love what I do. What my world looks like right now is I'm in charge of pretty much any new student freshman orientation that will be happening for our students. We have an amazing team of teachers that are our First Mate advisors, and I support them administratively, basically logistics. I'm kind of the logistics gal on the team. And then also another counselor and I, we kind of head up the ambassador team, which is a similar, smaller group of students. First Mates are senior leaders who apply the spring of their junior year. It's a pretty rigorous application process, so you kind of have to want to do this. This year we have 208 First Mates, and those students, again, are pretty fired up about welcoming ninth graders, not only at the orientation, but throughout the fall. So we will have several events throughout the fall to support ninth graders as they transition, and who better to do that than the seniors who have done this. And then for our ambassador team, that is a group of students in 10th through 12th grade who many of them have made the transition to Minnetonka at a different time than maybe coming in as a ninth grader. And they are here to support those new 10th through 12th grade students in an orientation of their own. And so my work this time of year is all about getting all of those pieces put together to do that. Other things that my job encompasses is touring prospective families if they're having questions and different things. So I get to kind of show off who we are and what we do, which is an amazing opportunity. Kind of piggybacking on the counselor and all of those things that Sarah said that they do. When I stop in the counseling office, my description is basically that this is your person. This is who you start with. Any question that you need. I look at myself as kind of an extension of the counseling office, just because, you know, a lot of what I do is that directing to the counselor if it's something that I can't help with, you know, how to get involved. Some of those things students will show up and have me do. And then also just kind of knowing where everything else is in the building. And so those are just some things that are under that umbrella of student life, but each day can be different.
Well, I attended last week our new student technology welcome where First Mates helped out. And I've worked in a variety of school districts. That is one of the more impressive welcoming events where parents and students come in. I saw you played a role in coordinating that.
Tiny
That's
role,
one of a multiple new student things. What are some other, from August until September, new student specific things that happen?
So the orientations definitely are an opportunity. We also will kind of do some one-off connections. If we hear from a counselor that a new student is maybe having a little bit of a hard time at lunchtime, or maybe finding their classes or things like that, then I will kind of reach out to some of my resources of students, because they're amazing and they are so excited to help. We also in September have through the activities office, there's an activities fair that will happen, and that's an opportunity for all students in the building to explore a little bit more about what some of those clubs look like. We line the commons with lots and lots of tables to highlight those different clubs and things. One thing specifically we do for ninth graders is our First Mates, one of their September activity with their, not with their groups, but just with freshmen, is that they will show up in health classes leading into that activities fair to kind of model for ninth graders, how do I go on the website and how do I find maybe some of those things. It's a long, big list of things that they can get involved in, and kind of sharing their experiences, and many times that's, boy, I wish I would have done that when I was a ninth grader, and kind of encouraging them to find connection in the building through something that they love, or something that they think they're interested in, or that maybe a friend even is interested in, but then they're prepared for that activities fair that the activities office coordinates. We just coordinate kind of the help to get them ready for that event.
It's great to see how close you two interact, all the counselors with you on new students or students that need support even after they started this school year.
Yep.
So for either of you or both of you, as I visited with parents who are either starting middle school or high school and it's their first student, there's that anxiety about how is this going to go for my student? This is a big school. Do you have any tips or advice for parents to lower their anxiety about the start of the school year?
Yeah. First of all, I would say it's really normal to feel that anxiety and nervousness about starting and transitioning into a new level. But I would just say there's a lot of work and care that goes into preparing for the students to come back into the halls, and we're excited, and there's going to be lots of support for those students and for the parents as well. I think the biggest thing is really staying connected to the communication that's out there. I think Minnetonka does an excellent job of sharing information and communicating, so the more that they can interact with our website, the district calendar, paying attention to communication coming from Principal Erickson and his weekly updates. I would say, for students obviously getting into the building and that orientation of being able to walk their schedule and see where their classes are, meet their teachers, get familiar with the resources at the high school. I think all of those things are just super helpful to kind of ease the nerves. And then of course, finding ways to really kind of jump into the school community, whether that's through a club or activity. If they're not ready yet to join something, or they're not sure because they're concerned they have too much going on, I would say even just thinking about how you might participate or step up as a leader in your classes, or other ways that you can maybe connect with the community through attending school events, sporting events, other things like that. So kind of finding those connections will help.
I certainly heard Principal Erickson talking about getting involved. I had shared that message. If you have a peer group that you're connected to, school goes so much better. Of common interest. And I'm sorry, Amy, you were going to say.
Okay. One of the things that I say on tours a lot, because there are many of our prospective students that might be coming from a smaller setting, and so they look at this great big school and different things like that, or they're just a nervous ninth grader coming in. And a couple of things that I will say to them, kind of a little bit in fun, is just to remind them that they aren't the only one. They're going to have probably, when it's all said and done, about 1,100 other brand new students to Minnetonka High School. And part of the scariness of doing something new is thinking that you're the only one that's experiencing it. So I will say, something to that effect. So just kind of remembering, and also to just give yourself some grace. It's not all going to be perfect right off the bat, right? It's going to take a little bit of time, and transitions can be hard. And that doesn't mean that they're not worth it, and it doesn't mean that it's not going to end up great. You just kind of have to just take a deep breath and just give yourself that permission to take a risk if you need to, or to settle back and observe until you're ready, and then go after it. One other thing, then, and I do this for parents too, where I'll just say, Minnetonka, we are good at so many, many, many things, but there's one thing we don't know how to do. And they look at me a little strange, and I said, do you know what that is? And the student usually doesn't. The parent might have an inkling, but basically I just say, we don't know how to read minds. So that if you don't express what you need, whether that's to a counselor, a trusted teacher, another adult in the building, all of us are here to help. And so if you have a question, or you have something that you're unsure about, ask the question. There are no dumb questions.
I give that same advice to people doing a podcast for the first time. Take risks, get involved, sit back. So, Sarah, if I'm a parent and I've got a freshman and I'm wading through this transition period, and it's October, and I feel like, boy, we're not making connections, or things aren't going, can parents reach out to the counseling office, and what should they expect?
Yeah, absolutely. So parents can always give us a call or email us and facilitate a meeting for us to see their child. We will be meeting with meaning all the counselors, meet with every one of their ninth graders in the second half of first semester. So we have a grade level meeting with students to kind of talk about how's school going so far, how are your connections, answer questions for them, things like that. So yes, I would say parents, reach out. We're here to support. It's really important to us that we're establishing a very positive relationship with our students starting in ninth grade, so they see us as that trusted adult and that safe person that they can go to for whatever's coming up throughout high school. So yeah, there's some very intentional things that we do to reach out to our ninth graders. We also do seminars, which is a small group with our specific ninth grade class, where we can talk about more things they need to know about MHS and how to be successful, and it's just part of that transition.
And is that just your group of the alphabet that you meet with?
Yes, typically, yeah.
So one other question just for parents of juniors and seniors, or maybe sophomores, juniors and seniors. What are some things we do to help students plan for post-secondary and throughout their high school career? What if I have a junior and I'm wondering what's happening at school to help my child prepare?
Mm-hmm. So again, like different times during junior year, juniors are getting that information through the small group seminars. We, I think again, do a great job with communication to try to tell parents, here are some things to be thinking about. We are very fortunate too that we have a college and career center right next door to the counseling office and a post-secondary counselor and wonderful staff there who are there to assist with questions as well. So I would just say, if parents are wondering about anything, they can always reach out, but just to know that we are thinking about that for the juniors, very intentional about this is where they're at in high school, trying to get them thinking about all the opportunities and options after high school, because we know it's not always college for everybody, and so during our seminars we're really intentional about talking about different avenues that they might want to pursue. So yeah. Great.
Well, amazingly, we're almost out of time, but I want to throw this out there. Is there anything else that you want to make sure our parents who are getting ready to start school next week when this podcast airs, anything else you want to share with those parents?
Yeah, so I think like you're saying, just really staying connected to the communication that's coming in, and also just knowing when your student comes home, if they're tired or frustrated, that is normal and they will get through that, and it kind of builds that resilience when they have to kind of sit with some of that for a while. We do want to stretch them. We want to challenge them during this time. We want them to take risks so that they can try new things and experience stuff that they haven't done before. So it's really, just kind of letting them have that time to do those things and being okay with that.
I reassure parents that our staff, all of our staff, even our non-direct student staff, our custodians, our clerical staff, our nutrition services, if we see a student struggling, we intervene. We don't want some student to go through the whole day looking like they're lost or uncomfortable. And so we will intervene, and oftentimes, if the student's really struggling, we'll let parents know. So if they are not hearing from someone, that means our staff aren't seeing them having a bad day, which is good news. No news is good news generally. So I want to thank you both for being here, taking time to explain your roles and your unique role in welcoming students and how you support students all year long, what parents can expect from your roles, your commitment to ensuring students have a great day. That is so important and what makes me proud of Minnetonka. And I want to thank you for joining us for this back to school episode of Ahoy Minnetonka featuring our high school support staff. We will be doing one of these for each level of our school system, and that will help all of our students feel prepared to start school. Thank you, and we'll see you around.